Last episode ended with Marnos the storyteller being invited to draw from a magical deck of cards by his allegedly good friend, Valorin the druid. He quickly accepted and they traveled together to the magical merchant's shop. Hello? I would like to draw a card from the one magic deck of cards that I heard about. Are you sure that you want to draw from the deck of many things? Literally only bad things have happened to everybody who's drawn from it this week. One fellow even had an avatar of death show up and try to kill him. I'm sure. The risks just make it a more interesting story. Alright, it's your funeral. Here you go. Old Man Yarick held out the deck of many things to Marnos, and he drew a card as Valorin and some of the other adventurers watched gleefully, looking forward to whatever terrible fate awaited him. The card depicted a crescent moon on a dark night. So, what'd you get? I think I just got 3 wishes. Wait, what? Seriously? A grin appeared across Marnos' face. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to. I believe I've just come up with the perfect story. Marnos left as the rest of the party briefly stood surprised that someone had finally gotten a good draw from the deck, then they each went their own separate ways. However, Valorin had come up with an idea, and so she went back to Belburn and met up with one of her other adventuring allies, Monroe the Human Fighter. I've got an idea that's gonna make both of us a lot of money. Are you ready? You're not. I'm gonna tell you anyway. Murder. What? Alright, I can see that you're unsure about this, but hear me out. You remember that one noble, Marnos Eidekin? Yeah, the son of the Baron who went out to the underground library that one time with us. I remember him. Well, he just got 3 wishes from the deck of many things, and I figure that if we can kill him before he uses them all, then we get to steal the wishes and use them ourselves. Perfect. I've got a job down at a jungle temple, but once I'm done with that, we can jump him and take him out. The next day, Monroe left on the journey to the jungle temple. Meanwhile, Valorin joined up with Uriel and the Purple Cloak to travel far up north to find a magical sword for none other than Marnos himself. However, while they were traveling, Marnos was very, very busy. Marnos had used his first wish to acquire a magical item known as Bloodthorn, a red crystal rapier with a silver hilt of a wolf head on it that got stronger every time it came into contact with blood. His second wish was to get another magic item. This time it was a small obsidian cube, which I can't really talk about without big spoilers for a future campaign, but the important part is that it would let him teleport basically anywhere he wanted to go, but with some limitations and costs. Once he got in both of these things, he decided to test them out by warping over to one of these small rooms on the edge of an infinite magical library. Sitting inside, attempting to copy over an ancient treasure map into his own papers, was Falvorus the Goblin Duelist. Without waiting for a single second, Marnos went on to the offensive, stabbing Falvorus through the side. Injured but still alive, Falvorus attempted to defend himself. However, even with all of his skills, he wasn't able to win while injured and lacking a weapon. Eventually, the killing blow was dealt, and the Goblin Duelist fell to the ground dead. Marnos picked up Falvorus's blood-stained red tri-cornered duelist hat and placed it on his head. He wanted the adventurers to know what he'd done. However, he had one more thing to attend to before he returned to the city. For the past few months of the campaign, one of the adventurers, known as Karsi, the human warlock, had been communicating with a being known as Estros the Devil, and slowly setting up a plan to kill 2 Archdevils and each take over a layer of hell together. The plan was to lure the 2 Archdevils into fighting each other, then right afterward they'd swoop in to finish off the winner and steal both of their layers of hell. However, during the end of the plan, Karsi was betrayed by Estros, who went off on his own to take both layers by himself. The plan worked. The 2 Archdevils died, and Estros the Devil was now the owner of the first 2 layers of the 9 hells. However, someone else was there in the hells, watching. Immediately after Estros took the thrones, Marnos snuck up behind him and dealt a killing blow to the injured devil, claiming the layers of hell for himself. In just 1 month of time, he'd gone from a random noble with no fighting skills to an archdevil controlling 2 layers of hell. However, his victory felt hollow, because in his expeditions he'd learned a terrible truth. There was another world. One full of people and stories and untapped potential. Meanwhile, he was stuck here, in a world on its last breath, gasping for another moment of life before it would inevitably be snuffed out by some villain or another. He had to leave and go to this better world, and so he abandoned his original plan for the story. However, he had some unfinished business to attend to first. He used the obsidian cube to teleport up to where Falarin was. Oh, hello there, Falarin. I just wanted to see if you'd found the sword I hired you for before I killed you. I'm sorry, what? What? Did you really think I was such an idiot as to not notice your plots and schemes? I heard your conversation with Monroe. You wanted to kill me, and so I only think it's fair that I end your life first. Oh shit, look, it wasn't anything personal, we just wanted to get your wishes, to get power. But it's clear that you've already used them, so the plot's over. Seriously. You and I both know that it was never about power. You just wanted to watch me suffer. I know what your goal was when you got me to draw the card from the deck. You hoped that I would be struck down by the gods above, for your entertainment. Well, newsflash, there are no gods here except for me. I am the writer of this story now, and you aren't relevant anymore. Marnos drew Bloodthorn, glowing with the power of the Archdevil he'd slain, and sliced through Falarin, killing her instantly. I don't know what she was doing, but we didn't have any part in it. Worry not, my friends. You still have a part to play in the upcoming story. Marnos used the cube to create another portal, and stepped through, disappearing from sight. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, looking forward to that part that I'll be playing. But before that, I think we should go get drunk at Frillamir's. Yup, that sounds like a good plan to me. Meanwhile, far to the south, a band of adventurers were fighting their way through a jungle temple, trying to find a magic item that was important to the campaign. The party contained Carsey, the human warlock, and Monroe, the human fighter, both of whom I'd mentioned earlier, along with two other new characters who aren't super important to this particular story. The party arrived at the final room and found that the magic item had already been stolen by one of the villains of the campaign. The party didn't have much time to talk about this development because a hellish portal ripped itself into existence next to them, and stepping out was Marnos the Archdevil. Hello there, Carsey. I don't particularly need 2 layers of hell, and you're as good a candidate as any. If you'd like to take one for yourself, then just step through the portal. Your imp Immy should help you figure out what to do. Carsey readily accepted the offer and stepped through the portal, leaving the other 3 members of his party alone with Marnos. Now, for the rest of you, I'll give you a one-time offer to leave while you have the chance. I only want to kill Monroe, however, I have no issues with adding a few extra deaths to this scene. Ha! As if the 3 of us would fight to the ends of the world together. They'd never, those cowards. Well, no matter. You may have some tricks up your sleeve, punk, but I've got one too. Monroe pulled out a magic item from his bag, the legendary Grenade of Many Things. He went to pull the pin and set it off, but Marnos slashed Monroe's stomach open. Barely holding on to life for a few seconds longer, Monroe ran right up to Marnos and activated the grenade. He rolled his dice, and suddenly the room was flooded with 10 black puddings. Before they could deal too much damage, Marnos used the obsidian cube and teleported out of there, leaving Monroe to be dissolved by the acidic oozes filling the room. Marnos had just one more thing to do. He waited a few days for all of the adventurers to arrive back at Belburn, the last city in this decimated world, and then he used the cube to teleport into the town square. He stood atop the stage that had been used for so many moments in the past and addressed the people of the city. Greetings, people of Belburn. I've come to make an announcement. You are all about to die. However, having the world just get snuffed out like that is so boring, so I figured I'd give you a fighting chance. The villain planning to destroy the planet is hiding in a mountain temple north of the Wizard's Tower. Good luck, and while I have complete faith in all of you, I'm also going to play this one safe. He then used the obsidian cube to rip a portal open and stepped through. It was supposed to take him to Arceus, to the other world, But he'd miscalculated. Instead of jumping there, he got stuck in the space between dimensions, a place without time. It took an eternity, but he eventually was able to create a magic item that let him defeat the timeless king who controlled the realm, and escape to where he really wanted to go, Arceus. He landed through the portal, and found himself at the edge of a farm. In the field, there was a farmer desperately trying to fend off a group of 3 undead from getting to the farmhouse. Marnos immediately leapt into action to help the man without thinking, because it's what the hero of the story would do, after all. As he jumped into the fray, he found that his devil powers were gone. All he had was his magic items and his own skills. However, he was still able to defeat the weak swarm of undead. Thanks for the help there. I hate to think of what could have happened if you hadn't showed up. Come on in, I'm about to make dinner. What's your name, by the way? Marnos thought for a second, deciding what type of story he'd want to tell, what type of role he'd want to play in this new world, and so he set his past behind him, deciding to forge a new identity as the hero of the story. You can call me Harvey,